All right, good afternoon, everyone. We are joined by head women's soccer coach Nikki Izzo-Brown this afternoon. We'll go ahead and get started with an opening statement from Coach, and then we will open it up to questions. Coach, whenever you're ready.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Excited to kick off this season. So far, so good with what we've seen so far. Just got to stay healthy and avoid COVID.
All right, we'll open it up to questions. Just a reminder to use the raised hand feature when you're ready to ask a question. We'll start things off with Nick Farrell.
Coach, long time no see. Hope you're doing well.
I'm good. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm great, Coach. Hey, can you give us just a general update? Are you pleased with the way things have gone? What have you been able to accomplish here ahead of your first match this week?
Well, I think everyone in the state of West Virginia is pretty happy with that Pitt win. So I think my hope is that we set the tone for everybody else, the other two footballs heading into those games. But, it's always exciting when you have super seniors return. I always wondered what it would be like. I know it's been, that red shirt has been something that has happened in other sports more than it happens in my sport. So having the likes of a Jordan Brewster and a Lauren Segala and a Madison Murphy has been really exciting. And I'm hoping I have to do less coaching because of that.
All right. Next up is Justin Jackson.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good, Justin. How are you?
I'm fine. Hey, I realized, a couple of days before a new season begins, it's probably not the best time to ask a coach to reflect, but all things considered, what was this off season like for you personally? You guys, for the longest time ever, 21 years, you guys were in the tournament, and this year wasn't. So, how did that change things? How did it change you? What was this off season like for you?
Yeah, you're right. I'm always trying to stay relevant, Justin. So I'm always reflecting, especially 27 years in. Couple things that I was very mindful of this off season. We haven't had a off season in 2 years. We played through all of last season. We never stopped playing. We were us in the ACC and the SEC. We never had an off season. So, and then COVID, we never had an off season. So really our team culture was a real big focus of ours, of how, you think after so many years doing this, the team would really have a good understanding. And I just wanted to make sure we had a really good understanding of who we are and what we wanted to do this upcoming season, because pressure is a privilege. 21 straight NCAA tournaments, there's an expectation now. There's an expectation of greatness. And when that happens, I have to live up to that because I am the one that is the leader and I should be accountable for that. So it was really important for me to go back and reflect and really understand where were the breakdowns, because it starts with me, and then do everything in my power to make sure that that situation isn't a repeat. So again, with any successful organization, it starts with your culture and the pillars of your success. And we really had to focus on what was going to hold us up to get back to the NCAA tournament and to continue to win championships, because that's the pressure now.
So when you talk to your players now about starting anew, I mean, I guess, is that the way you kind of bring it up to it ended, but we can get it started again, or do you even mention that kind of stuff at all to your bunch?
Oh no. I mean, there's kids came to West Virginia to win championships. I mean, there's players on the team. Jordan Brewster will tell you it's revenge tour.
Yeah.
She'll tell you times 100. So, this is not, and winning's hard, right? We had so many ties last year. We still had a winning season, and, that hurt us not, pulling out games and doing the things we needed to do. But, none of these women were satisfied they have a high standard of excellence, and know that getting to the NCAA tournament is absolutely important. Now, as you know, I'm definitely a coach that wants to focus on the positive, but at the end of the day, that's a fact. It's not a myth that we didn't make the NCAA tournament. The fact is, we tied Texas, we beat Texas, we're probably in. So the game's about inches, and the game's about doing the little things to make the big things happen. So, that's something that at the end of the day, we talk about, but also knowing moving forward, mentally, physically, technically, tactically, we have to be sharper. And in order to be sharper, you got to go back to failure, and failure is your best motivator and your best teacher. Yeah. So
hey, one last one for me, Coach. How to put this? Comparing sports a lot of times can be apples to oranges, and obviously, success in one sport is different and success in another sport. But do you think, can you just put into words the success you had? 21. I'm trying to think. If the basketball team went to 21 straight NCAA tournaments, it would be, huge. And if the football team went to 21 bowl games in a row, it would. You know what I mean? And you can't compare sports, obviously, but I mean, do you think something like this could ever be reached again at West Virginia? Or, I mean, what, just your thoughts, I guess.
Yeah. I think it's a terrible disease that I have, because you never really think and go, wow, we've made 21 straight. You're always looking at the next year and the next year and the next year, right? So I do believe that the 21 teams that achieved those NCAA tournaments have so much to be proud of. And it is, I will say this. How about if I say this? Only 9 other teams up until last year have done it in women's soccer. Right. So we were one of 8 or one of 9, and Olivia can share that statistics. So now we're talking the elite programs. So it's pretty elite what we did. Now I hope to God somebody else does 22, especially at West Virginia. Nothing would make me happier than, I'm the OG Brown, but the new Brown gets that championship game. Nothing would make me happier than, Dawn coming in new, and Dan and whomever does that. It's, we're a team, but it's pretty amazing if you think about it, that we were able to do what we did for so many years.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Right. Our next question will come from Kevin Kinder.
Okay, Coach, you opened the door a little bit with that, and you mentioned.
Wait, Kevin, where are you? I want to be where you are.
No, that's my reminder. That was my summer trip. That's Edinburgh Castle in Scotland.
Nice, fun.
Yeah,
okay, sorry.
No, that's okay. It's just to remind me of what can be. You mentioned improving some things to get back to it. Do you have some specific goals? I mean, so many of your teams were so great defensively. Other teams just couldn't score on you. So, you got one and you were off and on your way. Is that your game plan, or are there other things you can improve on, you feel like, that give you different avenues to getting back?
Yeah, I think I don't want the team to be burdened because we didn't score last year, right? So I guess, yes, that's obvious. And the spring was a lot about how are we composed in front of the net? How are we, finishing quickly, little windows? How are we creating windows? How are we making sure that we're creating windows and creating chances? With that being said, my whole thing is just do your job. Like, Jordan Brewster, you're a center back. You cannot be worried about scoring right now. And if you are, that's going to be a problem. So for me and just my philosophy and how I'm coaching this group right now, it's like, well, we're going to score, right? We have kids that can score. We definitely have to have them have a very good understanding of their job and be consistent. We're all hunting greatness, and greatness is just consistency. And that's what we lacked last year.
Is this team a little better balanced maybe than last year's?
Yeah. And last year, this team, knock on wood, I don't even want to say it, but, we got hurt. No excuses. We have a little bit more depth this year. So that always makes a coach feel a little bit, but that's the reality. I mean, and we do have depth. So the reality is we have depth, knock on wood, no injuries, no COVID.
Nick Farrell, you're up next.
Coach, are you pleased with Delari's improvements from year 1 to year 2? And how does she fit into that equation when it comes to scoring?
Yeah. I mean, we know that, she catches everybody's eye. She's my shifty, 1v1 dribbler, exciting, razzle dazzle player. And she can really create chances. And unfortunately, she finished like a freshman, right? So, I know that has been something she's worked on. This summer she went back and played on a team this summer and trained with some high level players for her to, gain that ground. So I'm real excited for Delari, and, she's a kid that can really step up to the challenge, but also play inside herself. And, it's going to be an exciting year for Delari. She learned a lot last year.
On the subject of your 50 years, Coach, what kind of conversations did you have with them during the offseason? Did all three of them immediately express interest that they wanted to come back?
So everyone had a different journey, and we have Kenzie Unks there coming back too. And I think that's another one I didn't mention. But with that being said, so yes, I mean, I think, Jordan's journey to that was more like, she wants to be a pro. She felt she needed another year to be a pro. It was Jordan's decision. My job is to get her to be a pro. And I thought she was ready last year, but it made most sense for her to come back and really put herself in even a better position, right? After talking to her and her mom. Then Lauren Scala was a little different. She hung him up and just missed it. She missed it. So that was exciting. I got a phone call in July, and it was an early Christmas present that Lauren Scala wanted to come back. And, so we're real pleased about that one. And, the same thing with Maddie, that one was a little earlier on, and, she felt like, she didn't want to hang up her collegiate boots yet. So real excited about those types of kids and their return to make the team better.
So on the subject of Jordan Brewster, you've had a great track record with Mountaineers who have played her position that go on to have outstanding pro careers. How close is she? Where does she need to improve to really be capable of taking that next step?
Yeah. Every kid needs speed of play. So I think when you go from college to pros, it's always the speed of play. Everybody's thinking on the same high level. So I would say Jordan just needs to play the ball quicker. I think technically just being able to have range in her passing accurately, and then just, being a Barracuda, because next level, nobody's taking anything lightly. So I think the mentality, but, she's really focused on being 2-footed, working on her range of passing, and now in camp, just really moving the ball.
Kevin Kinder, go ahead.
This is kind of in line with Justin's question about comparing sports, but we cover other sports where people are really anxious to go pro or to explore greener pastures. That doesn't seem to be the case here either, from what you're saying this year and in most other years. Your players seem to be more level-headed and realistic about assessing what they do well and coming back. I mean, is that just a thing that you find across college soccer?
Yeah, I think for us, what we've been able to do that has really been a great opportunity has been we play in the spring pro teams. So we played Racing Louisville last year, 2 years ago, whatever that COVID all season year. And Jordan was like, whoa, so I think maybe if some of Huggs's guys got to, get up against the, the Nets or whoever, I think they'd probably go, oh, wait a minute, this Golden State Warriors, so I think that was definitely something that looked, Jordan in the face, and to the credit of my staff, that it's you're going to develop here, and this is an environment because of, what we created here, that she can develop more. So I think it's a twofold.
And does it help too that you have sent people on to obviously the pros and to the international level? When they talk to them, they come back and say, we can really tell you what it's like.
Yeah. And I've been so blessed with, for me, it's about the weddings and the relationships, getting invited, and my alumni always, are more than willing to talk about their experience, and how it's prepared them for the pros, and just the I guess the what is it called? The saying, like, why coach is so crazy, but it makes sense. So just buy into the process, right?
All right. And our final question today will come from Nick Farrell.
Coach, is there a status update that you can share on Kenzie when she will be back and available for you guys?
Yeah, we're hoping somewhere at the end of August. That's the hope. I got to talk to medical again. So that's the hope. But again, we don't want to push her too much. We want to be real, I guess, safe and lean more on the conservative side than the aggressive side. But I'll tell you what, nobody's working harder than Kenzie Youngst right now. And it's just amazing to see how she's embraced this adversity and hit it head on.
All right. That'll do it for us today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Looks like everybody signed off. And then Adam and Andy, when you guys are ready, you can take it away.
Whoop, whoop. Adam said he's unprepared, so he can